Good morning. Our lecture today is amelogenesis or enamel formation. Enamel is the hardest substance of a human body, but it's very brittle with low tensile strength like ceramics. Therefore, enamel requires base of dentine to withstand force. Unlike other calcified structure in the body, enamel is unique as it's totally acellular because the ameloblast is formed the reduced enamel epithelium and no formation of the enamel occur. Highly mineralized crystalline structure composed of 96% inorganic matter by weight hydroxyapatite crystals, and this crystals is the largest one of all the calcified tissue in the body. 4% by weight organic content, which is made from enamel protein, which is 90% amelogenin and 10% non-amelogenin, like enamine, ameloblastine, and taftanine. The primary function of the organic material is to direct the growth of enamel crystals. Enamel structure is composed mainly of rod or prisms, rod sheath, and cementing interprismatic substance. The number of the enamel rod has been estimated as ranging from 5 million in lower lateral incisors to 12 million in upper first molar. From the dentino-enamel junction, the rod runs somewhat tortuous course outward to the surface of the tooth. The length of the most rod is greater than the thickness of the enamel because of the oblique direction and the wavy course of the rod. Crystals are long, hexagonal, needle-like in shape. The increase in the area of enamel at the surface compared to their area at the dentino-enamel junction is not due to increase in the number of prisms, but it is explained on the basis of increase prism diameter near the tooth surface than the near dentino-enamel junction in ratio 1:2, and the oblique orientation of prisms toward the surface. Rod and interrod enamel is formed from Thomson process of ameloblast. The crystals making up the rod and interrod enamel have the same composition but different direction or orientation. The boundary between rod and interrod enamel is marked by narrow space filled with organic material, which is called rod sheath. Enamel rods are connected to one another in such a way that they appear like keyholes. Head of one rod nestling against the neck of the two neighboring rods. Enamel rods appear like keyholes, like in this slide. This is a light microscope and this is electron microscope show enamel rod, and this interprismatic substance or interrod substance. This is located between two heads of the enamel rod and give a keyhole appearance. This picture shows the electron microscopical of the ameloblast cells during secretory stage. This is the Thomson process in the distal end of these cells. This picture shows the hydroxyapatite crystals in the newly formed enamel. This is small crystals, and older enamel, the crystals is like hexagonal in shape. This is present crystals in the interrod substance, and this crystals in the rod. This is also the crystals in the rod, and this in the interrod substance. They are different in orientation. This picture shows the box of from the enamel. Drawing picture shows the keyhole appearance of the enamel rod. This is the rod head, and this is the tail, which represents the interprismatic substance. In B, this is the longitudinal section of the enamel rod. Show that this is the enamel rod, and this is the interprismatic substance as shown here. This the enamel rod, and this is the interprismatic substance or tail of the keyhole appearance. Incremental line present in enamel are three. First, striae of retizias, which appear as a brownish band in ground section of the enamel. It had been attributed to periodic bending of the enamel rod, to variation in the basic organic substance, or to a physiologic calcification rhythm in the longitudinal section. They surround the tip of the dentine. In cervical part of the crown, they run obliquely from dentino-enamel junction to the surface. They deviated occlusally. In the transverse section of the tooth, the incremental line appear concentric, a circle like a tree. This is longitudinal slide of the tooth. Show this is the enamel, and this line is the striae of Retizius, which is appear as a brownish line. And this in cross section of the tooth represent as concentric line surrounding the dentino-enamel junction in this cross section. Another incremental line is a cross striation. Seen in light microscope is suggested to be due to the diurnal rhythm in the enamel formation, and that in this area road shows variation in composition. In human, this segment seems to be uniform length of about 4 micron, as shown in this slide. This is the ground section of the enamel. Shows this is a cross striation, as in this pointer. Between one striation and another, the segment is about 4 micron. This represents the daily secretion of the enamel matrix by the ameloblast. The third line in the enamel is a neonatal line, which represents a striae of Retizius that form at birth because it reflects the great physiologic changes occur at birth. So this line demarcating the boundary between a pre and post-natal enamel, and this is the neonatal line, which represents the striae of Retizius, which is seen during birth. Another structure in ground section of the enamel is Hunter-Schreger Band. These are alternating dark and light strips of varying width that can best be seen in longitudinal ground section under oblique reflected light. They originate at the dentino-enamel junction and pass outward, ending at some distance from the outer surface of the enamel. The prisms, which are cut longitudinally to produce the dark band, are called parazone, while the prisms, which are cut transversely to produce light band, are called diazone. The angle between parazone and diazone is about 40 degrees. This slide shows the Hunter-Schreger band, and this is the dentino-enamel junction, and this is the surface of the enamel. This alternating dark and light band represent the Hunter-Schreger band, which is originated from the dentino-enamel junction to thickness of the enamel, but not reach to the surface of the enamel. And this is also the Hunter-Schreger band in light microscopical section of the enamel. Canaled enamel is the strongest type of the enamel, present only in the cusp of the molar teeth, which represent the twisting of the enamel rod around each other. And this type of enamel is the strongest type of the enamel present in cusp to withstand the force of mastication. This is the dentino-enamel junction, and this is the dentinal tubules. Enamel tuft and lamellae. One of them is represent the dentino-enamel junction structure, and the enamel lamellae represent one of the enamel surface of the enamel. Enamel tuft originate from the dentino-enamel junction, run a short distance in the enamel or to 1/2 of the thickness. They represent enameline protein-rich area in the enamel matrix that fail to mature. They are considered to be necessary to anchor dentin to the enamel because it is present in the dentino-enamel junction. Enamel lamellae is the thin leaf-like structure that extend from the enamel surface toward the dentino-enamel junction. 3 types of lamellae can be differentiated. Type 1 lamellae composed of poorly calcified rod segment. Type B lamellae consisting of degenerated cells, and type C lamellae arising in the erupted teeth where the cracks are filled with organic matter. This slide cross-section of a ground section of the tooth represent, this is the enamel and this is the dentine. This is the dentino-enamel junction and this is the enamel tuft. Also this is the enamel tuft. And this represents the enamel lamellae, which started from the enamel surface to reach the dentino-enamel junction. This also the enamel tuft and this is the lamellae. Another structure present near the dentino-enamel junction is enamel spindle. This originates from the odontoplasmic process which crossed the dentino-enamel junction and considered the only ectomesenchymal structure in the enamel as shown here. This is the enamel spindle and this is high power of the enamel spindle, which is represent the odontoplasmic process of the dentine, which cross the dentino-enamel junction and stay inside the enamel, called enamel spindle.